Alright, boys and girls, I have another video for you. This is Chapter 7, Lesson 3. We're going to write algebraic expressions. Our objective today is I can write an algebraic expression to represent a situation, meaning some sort of a real-world problem that we have going on. We're going to write some expressions to represent them. So an algebraic expression, yesterday we talked about a numerical expression, is a math phrase with just numbers. But an algebraic expression is a math phrase or a mathematical phrase that includes at least one variable. That word is variable. Now please make sure you write down these definitions in your notebook on the left side, so you might have to pause the video so you can write these down. A variable is a letter or symbol that stands for one or more numbers. So you've probably seen math problems before that have like an X in them. Okay, something like this. Or maybe it had a Y in it. Maybe a Z, maybe an A. These are variables. Here is X plus 10. X is your variable. It's a letter that represents one or more numbers, which we just don't necessarily know what number it's representing here. This is 3 times Y, and Y is our variable. And then 3 times A plus 4. See, this is an algebraic expression because it not only contains numbers, operation symbols, but also a variable, meaning it is an algebraic expression, and A is our variable in this expression. I'm going to show you something kind of interesting. We're going to take a closer look at 3 times Y. So there's a couple of ways to show multiplication with variables, and so you'll see this throughout any time you take algebra. But we still see 3 times Y shown with the little X multiplication symbol in the middle. But sometimes you'll see it with just 3 and it's right next to the Y with no spaces. That also means multiplication. So if you see a 3Y like this, it means 3 times Y. Now if you see 3 right close to your parentheses and then a Y or something inside of those parentheses, you're going to multiply the outside number by the inside number. And then we've talked before how the dot, Abigail, the dot also means 3 times Y. So those are a couple of different ways, 4 different ways that you will see these multiplication represented in algebraic expressions. So don't be surprised when you see them those different ways. Okay, so I told you that we were going to do algebraic expressions with real-world situations. So here's our situation. An artist charges $5 for each person in a cartoon drawing. Write an algebraic expression for the cost in dollars for a drawing that includes P people. This P represents our variable. We already talked about that variable. So here we need to write an algebraic expression. That's what they want us to do, is to write that expression for them. So we need to look at what the situation is asking us. First of all, it's saying, well, there's $5 per person. So the cost for each person is $5. And we are going to multiply. I'm going to put the the multiplication symbol. And then we're doing it by the number of what? P is the number of people. So I'll go ahead and write that in here. So our expression would look like something like this. 5 times P. Or another way you could write it is 5P. These are both algebraic expressions. So basically what that means in a real-world situation, if you were at the state fair like me and my husband went the other couple weeks ago, and you wanted to get a cartoon drawing done, and you had 2 people in your group, then, for example, you would put the number of people you had, let me just switch colors here, is 2, and it's $5 per person, so it would cost you $10. But say you had 5 people, you could still do it, but then you would have 5 times 5, and, sorry, that didn't look like a 5. It would actually cost you $25. So this expression 5P works to figure out however much it would cost you regardless of how many people you had, because you can just insert or substitute the number of people in for the letter P, and it will give you the answer for your real world situation. Totally new stuff for you, but make sure you rewatch this video if you need to, or pause and rewind, or ask me to come help you if you have questions on it. So one thing you notice when you're writing those algebraic expressions is that you're going to have to use some words, or you'll read some words and you got to know what they mean. So copy these in your notes real quick. I know that we've done that before, but it's always good to have them listed somewhere. These are common words that you're going to find when you're talking about addition: sum, increased by, or plus. Subtraction words would be things like difference, minus, decreased by, less, or less than. Multiply, you'll see the product, times, or of. And divide is quotient, divided by, or split. Those are those common operational words that will tell you what to do in your writing while you're writing your expression. So go ahead and pause the video and write those down in your notebook on the left side. Okay, so I know we haven't had a ton of practice, but here's your chance to go ahead and try one. I'll read the problem to you and then pause the video and try it in your notebook. Now, I know that it's long, but you need to write down the problem in your notebook so when you go back, you have the actual problem written down. So please, please, please take the time, because if not, I'll just send you back to do it later. So make sure that you write down the problem and solve it to the best of your ability, and then push play to watch the video and see how I solve it. So it says, on Mondays, a bakery adds 2 extra muffins for free with every muffin order. They want you to write an algebraic expression for the number of muffins customers will receive on Mondays when they order M muffins. Go ahead and try it to see how you do. Okay, let's go ahead and solve this together. And I just want to say, guys, I'm so sorry that my dog she's just being really needy right now, so she keeps barking in. She wants to play. But we're going to go ahead and get through this first. So on Monday, a bakery adds 2 extra muffin. Now that keyword adds is going to tell us what operation to use. We're going to add 2 muffins. But they're adding 2 muffins to what? Well, they're adding 2 muffins to whatever they happen to order. So that's our algebraic expression, m plus 2. So say I order 30 muffins. Well, on Mondays, I'm going to get 32. Say my mom orders 45 muffins on Monday. Well, they threw in 2 extras and she gets 47. So no matter how many M muffins you order, if you always add 2, you'll find out how many muffins you get on Monday. Okay, so here I'm going to show you 2 examples. You need to write these down on the left side of your notebook, along with the answers as I solve them. Make sure that your notebook matches my video exactly, because those steps are all very important. Don't just write down the answer. That tells you nothing. You have to write down the example. You have to write down the instructions and the example, the steps that I'm going to take, and the final answer. That's the only way that this is going to work, okay? And that's what I'll be checking for when I check off your work today. So, write an algebraic expression. We're going to do 30 more than the product of 4 and x. Okay, I heard 2 key words here. I heard more than, which means, tells my brain addition. And I heard product of, which tells my brain multiplication. Abigail, shh. Okay, hold on. Okay, so back to whatever I was saying. So we have more than is addition, and product is multiplication. So we need 30 more. So we're going to be adding 30. Okay, so I don't know exactly what this is going to look like, but I'm going to be adding 30. I might need to move these around. I'm just going to write down for now. 30 more than the product of 4 and x. Product meaning multiply, so I'm going to multiply 4 times x. I'm going to write it like this, with the little dot, because we know that that's one way I can write it. Okay, the problem I have here is that I kind of want to move it around. This is fine because according to my order of operations, you would do 40 times x and then add 30. But another way I could write this is 4x plus 30. Another way I could write this is if I did 30 plus 4 times x in parentheses. That looks kind of weird with those two. This one's a times, and this one's the actual x. Sorry, that looks kind of funky. So there's a couple of different ways you could write the algebraic expression, but it means the same thing, meaning 4 times x, the product of 4 and x, plus 30. And I can move them around, and I can add parentheses, and I can write it in a couple of different ways. It just needs to match my word expression. This here is called a word expression, and then with the numbers and symbols, it's an algebraic expression. Let's try another one. So again, write this on the left side of your notebook. 4 times the sum of x and 30. So let's look for those keywords. I've got 4 times, so I'm going to do a times here. The sum, that's addition. Whoa, that was a funky looking addition symbol. Of x and 30. So I need to add x and 30. So I'm going to do x plus 30. And then it says that I need 4 times that. So whatever x plus 30 is, I need to then multiply it by 4. See that? So here's an acceptable answer to write an algebraic expression, 4 times the sum of x and 30. Another way you could do it, there's so many different ways. You could put the 4 on the outside over here, x plus 30 on the inside of the parentheses, times it by 4, totally fine. So I hope one thing that you're noticing is that as we're writing these algebraic expressions, is there's many ways to represent an algebraic expression. You just need to double check to make sure that you represented your word expression in an algebraic form correctly. So now we have a chance to try it. We're looking for 13 less than p. So now you're on the right side of your notebook, and you're going to go ahead and try writing an algebraic expression that represents 13 less than p, which is your variable. Go ahead and pause and try. So 13 less than p. So obviously less than is going to tell me subtraction. That's easy enough. Now let me write it this way. 13 less than p. But there's a problem here. We have this backwards. So if you wrote 13 subtract p, then that actually means p is less than 13. But, so if I had 13 and say p equals 6, 13 less than p would be 13 minus 6. That's not what it's asking you though. It's asking you to write 13 less than p, so you actually need p subtract 13, okay? So when it said 13 less than p, you want to put the p first and then subtract 13 from it so that it's 13 less than whatever p started out as. Try another one. So the difference of 2 and the product of 3 and k. Try this one on your own and then restart the video, don't restart the video, push play to see how you did. Okay, I have the difference of 2 and the product of 3 and k. So I need, the difference we know is subtraction, and the product is multiplication. Here we see that we're multiplying 3 and k, so I'm going to go ahead and 3 times k. And I need the difference of 2. So I'm going to put these in parentheses so I know that that comes first. And the difference of 2 would mean I'm going to subtract 2. You could write this a couple of different ways. You could do 3k minus 2, but remember you are subtracting 2 at the end there. Bless you, Abigail. Okay, 2 more. Go ahead and try this one on your own. 12 divided by the sum of h and 2. Okay, I bet you could do this one by yourself. So, let's just check your work. This should be 12 divided by, whoa, that was divided, let's try that again. Divided by the sum of h and 2. And that's it. Okay, this is the last one. Go ahead and try it by yourself. Now, notice on this one that like when we had 13 less than p, p came first, and then 13 came at the end. This one's 10 less than the quotient of g and 3. So a little hint, 10 is going to come at the end of your expression. Okay, so let's check your work and be done with this lesson for today. Quotient means division. So I have the quotient of g divided by 3, subtract 10. And that is how you write an algebraic expression based on a word expression. In the other half of today's lesson, lesson 7.4, which we're planning to do on the same day, it's going to have you, it'll give you the algebraic expression like this, and you'll get a chance to identify the parts and write the word expression like so. So hopefully you see the pattern and the similarities and differences among the two lessons. Remember to feel free to pause, rewind, ask questions, make sure that you have both the left and the right side of your notebooks filled out so that you can pass off today's lessons.